Aloha there, this is Darcy Frankel coming to you from my home office here on Kauai. I have a few little screens here happening. Facebook Live, YouTube, get it all. So welcome. Today I want to talk about so let me just start this fresh. So this is really important. Today I want to talk about, is your deodorant toxic? It's a very important topic. But first, you should know that being exposed to toxins in our body, it's not like stubbing your toe. When you stub your toe, you feel the entirety of the effect in the moment, don't you? It's like you stub your toe and there's boom. Ouch! Stubbed my toe a couple of years ago. So you feel the entirety of the effect immediately. Now, the thing about being exposed to toxins, like toxins in our deodorant, there's two things you need to know. Number one, we won't know when the actual effects of toxic exposure shows up. So we don't know when. Now, sometimes effects might occur immediately, such as a rash or irritation. However, it's most likely that these toxins will accumulate in our body over time for maybe decades, and then they tend to show up. So today I'm going to talk about, is your deodorant toxic? You need to know, are you putting something toxic in your body? So I'll talk about 5 ways your deodorant is toxic. That's 5 ways that your deodorant is toxic. So let's take one example of a toxin in deodorant: aluminum. Aluminum is a common ingredient in deodorant. You don't believe me? Go check. Do a search. I just did a search just out of curiosity. I looked on Amazon to see what to look for a common deodorant. As I started to type it in, a drop-down menu came there. There were maybe 8 things on the actual drop-down menu. And what was number 3? It said aluminum-free deodorant. So this Amazon search experiment shows me that people are beginning to find out that there are harmful toxins in our everyday body products, such as our body products, our shampoo, conditioner, soap, cosmetics, cleaning products, our food, even our showering and drinking and bathing water. But did you know that aluminum, which is the common ingredient in most deodorants, is carcinogenic? This means it causes cancer. To see more about my Amazon search experiment, you can click my blog here. I will put a little a banner up here. I'll put this, and if you're it's called Serious Cleanse. For those of you on my Facebook, Serious Cleanse, 5 ways your deodorant is toxic. So this is, you can take a look at my experiment there. All right. And those of you who are on this one, you can see it right there. There's the there's the banner. I have all these multi-platforms. It's high tech up in here. Oops, my flower dropped. Pick a little flower today as we were outside. I wish you could smell this flower. It's frangipani, or plumeria, also known as frangipani, and it smells so subtle. It's beautiful. All right, so did you check your deodorant yet? Now, traditional education doesn't teach us about this. Oh my gosh, we learn more about our coffee makers and our cars and taking care of our cars than we ever do with our bodies. Isn't that amazing? Let me just make a little adjustment here. This light feels like it's too bright. Okay, so what I was saying is we learn more about taking care of our computers, our coffee makers, and what else did I say? Then we learn more about taking care of our computers than we do of our bodies. You know, as a child growing up, I was actually exposed to a toxic school. I had several symptoms as a child, but we couldn't really figure it out. I would go to school and I would get really tired, and I always smelled this smell. But what happened was it was a portable, and it just stunk. It was really awful. But we didn't figure out what happened until decades later, and I had to cleanse those toxins out of my system from that. But when I first started to make healthier changes, I was really blown away at how just simple actions could make me feel much better. And that's why I've really dedicated my life to be a cleansing and rejuvenation specialist and helping people to use these different techniques to find out what these toxins are, to eliminate them, and to cleanse them. Now, let's come back to you and finding out if your deodorant is toxic and how that affects you. Here's what happens. You use deodorant day after day, year after year. You probably use the same one, right? You use the same brand. I do. When I find a brand and it works, I stick with it. Now, the aluminum, the cadmium, the parabens, and other toxic ingredients build up in the tissues and the lymphatic system and seep into the breast tissue. Now, women have more breast tissue than men, and I'll share with you some of the research in a moment. But women have more breast tissue than men, and so these toxins just stay there and accumulate until we do a cleanse. Now, antiperspirants add insult to injury, because what happens is antiperspirants, against or not, perspirant, perspiring, antiperspirants actually stop the sweating. And what do we need to cleanse? We need to sweat. So the act of sweating itself, when we sweat, we eliminate toxins from the whole body. Remember, the 4 organs of detoxification are the skin, the lymphatic system, the liver, and the kidneys. These are really important players in the body and in toxins. So what happens is antiperspirants block the exact thing that we need to cleanse. Now, again, I'll give you bullet points. I have a bunch of scientific stuff here, but if you want to, you can just go to that link that I sent you on my blog and check that out. But I'll give you a few bullet points here. Did you know that aluminum is cancer-causing? It's a known carcinogenic. It also has an affinity towards the breast and what else? The brain. Aluminum, it is speculated that aluminum triggers the BRCA mutation, the BRCA gene, which is responsible for developing breast cancer. Aluminum is toxic to mitochondria, and it also clogs up another one of our main organs of detoxification, the liver. Sadly, the general public will never be told this. Okay, I want to talk to you about one other point, then I'll share some of the other information with you. Let's see. Hi, Joan. All right, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, the other very important thing before I go into before we drill down into some of the research. And then at the end of this, stay tuned, because I will help you to find out these exact toxins. I will help you to cleanse them and prevent these toxins from getting in your body in the first place, because let's just be honest, it's way easier to prevent these toxins from getting in our body in the first place than it is to cleanse them from our bodies. All right, so I want to talk to you about the skin. And some of you who know me know that I practice Ayurvedic medicine, and I've been doing that for almost 30 years. I know I look too young to have done that. I started in my last life, so thank you for the compliment. Now, Ayurveda talks extensively about how to use the skin to deliver medicine. So for instance, when someone comes to me for a cleansing and rejuvenation program, what do? We give them beautiful massage every day with herbalized oil. And these herbs in the oil go into the body and they help the body to detoxify, to cleanse, they strengthen and nurture. It's like applying these herbs all over the body is way more effective than just taking a little bit of an herb orally. In fact, in the Ralph Nader report, I posted this recently, the Ralph Nader report shows us that when we get into the shower, that we absorb 100 times more. They're talking about toxins in this instance, but when we shower, our skin absorbs 100 times more of the toxins than we ever can drink in a day. Why? Because the skin acts like a giant nicotine patch, a giant transdermal way of imbibing. To put simply, we eat everything that is put on our skin. We eat everything that we put on our skin. So remember, we eat everything that we put on our skin. Our skin, in other words, our skin indiscriminately consumes whatever we put on it. So today we're talking about find out what's in your deodorant, because there are concentrated toxins in your deodorant, and particularly for women, these toxins go into the skin, the underarms, and they stay there, particularly if there's an antiperspirant, if there's something preventing you from sweating. So this is really important to know, and I've been talking so much about this because the skin indiscriminately eats whatever we put on it. Now, we're exposed to toxins in a handful of ways. Actually, just 3 ways. Do you know what they are? Through eating, through our skin, and through the breathing. So toxins are in the air that we breathe. So if you walk by someone's house and you smell that lovely plume of fabric softener, you are breathing in those endocrine disrupting chemicals that are in fabric softener. And when you breathe in, when you smell mold, you are breathing that in. When you eat something, when we eat foods, for instance, nowadays we have foods and toxins are grown into, sprayed on, and added to the food. Pesticides are grown into our foods. Oh my gosh. Oof. So we really need to be carefully be the watchdog of what we consume. All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about, I want to give you some quotes. I want to drill down and give you some more information about these actual toxins, that we are exposed to. Now, just so you know, I will unpack each of these in my upcoming cleanse, and I will teach you about what to avoid, how to cleanse these toxins from your body, and most importantly, how to prevent them from getting in. Because it's easier to prevent these toxins from getting in our body than it is to cleanse them. So at the end, stick to the end, and I will share with you a way that you can learn about these toxins even more and go deeper if that's something that you'd like. And if you're a woman who wants to be healthy, so stick with me and I'll share that information with you. All right, so let's see. I have some notes here. And research. So it says you may want to reconsider your deodorant and your aluminum foil for that matter. Now, did you know that most breast cancers develop in the upper outer quadrant of the breast tissue? And this clearly indicates to me that the chemicals in toxic deodorant are what I call a causative factor, if not a primary cause in breast disease. In fact, studies show in samples of 99% of breast tissues, 99% of the samples taken, that there were parabens in these 99% of, let me say this. So basically, let's say they tested 100 women. So in 99% of those women, there were parabens that were found in the actual cancer lesions there. Now, here's a direct quote from a woman named Philippa Darba, the associate professor of oncology at UK's University of Reading. She recently told the Sydney Morning Herald, and this is a quote, "This is beginning to build a bigger picture of how parabens might act in the body. It's not as simple as looking at one chemical acting in isolation. We need a full picture of all the environmental chemicals that are detected in the breast and all the pathways throughout which they act in the body before we can begin to understand what effects they might have." So this was a quote from Philippa Darba, who is the associate professor of oncology. So she's basically saying, this is we're beginning to see about how parabens, this is just parabens. So have you looked in your deodorant and your body products? Do they contain parabens and aluminum? So then some of the other information here, it says one problem is that the breast has become a dustbin for environmental chemicals. It's a very fatty part of the body, and so only fat-soluble chemicals that are absorbed from the environment can linger in the tissues. Actually, just to, this should be bigger. Sorry, let me just make this a little bigger. There we go. Thank you very much. Now I won't be straining to look at that. All right. So, most chemicals, most toxins are fat soluble. There are many, many toxins that are fat soluble. It's probably the exception that they are not. All right. So there's those two bits of research. And then I say here, that's why I highly recommend strategic and periodic cleansing. And again, I will show you at the end how you can learn about all these different toxins that we're exposed to and how you can prevent them. Why? And how you can cleanse them from your body. Now, research, I have some more here. This is really interesting. So T.T. Wells researchers are slowly coming to the realization that the aluminum in antiperspirants and deodorants is carcinogenic and seeping into breast tissue, accumulating in high concentrations in the upper outer quadrant of the breast, causing an inflammatory response, which inducing breast cancer and promoting mastitis. So that's, not good news. And it's really important to know this, this information, really important to know this information, especially if you're a woman. Okay, and now, remember how I talked about the BRCA gene? So it's speculated that aluminum triggers BRCA mutations, partly because aluminum is toxic to mitochondria. These are my bullet points that I drilled down in. But also because it deactivates sulfates in the blood vessels and capillaries, decreasing blood flow and oxygen, which sets the stage for yeast, bacteria, viri, and ultimately cancer formation. And then I go on to talk about here, also, since the action of antiperspirants here itself is to stop sweating, the user is inadvertently stopping the very thing that actually helps the body to detox these poisonous substance that he or she is applying to the skin on a daily basis. So sweating in most circumstances every circumstance that I can think of should never be interfered with, much less with toxic chemicals and metals. Sadly, the general public will never be told this. So these are important points to consider. And I also have another research paper here from Science Daily, but I've been reading this report for a long time. I love this Dominican report. I know, I'm such a nerd. Let's see how this is coming out. I'm such a nerd. So the Dominican University of California shows that breast cancer cells become increasingly aggressive the longer that they are exposed to small concentrations of cadmium. Very small concentrations of cadmium, which is a heavy metal commonly found in what? Cosmetics, including deodorant, food, water, as well as air particles. So now, today, when I did my research, remember when I said I did some research, I came up with this, I wonder if I can do a screen share. Let's do a little screen share with you. Share screen, allow. Bink. Okay, so here I'm going to go to my, let's see if this is working. Bink. Firefox cannot allow permanent. Okay, that's fine. Really? Well, okay. So I'm selecting the screen. Allow. Okay, well, that's fun. It's like infinity and beyond. Okay, so this is actually from my blog post, 5 ways that your deodorant is toxic. So if you can see here, let me just double check that this is showing up. Okay, good, it's showing up. I just had to double check. You know, I use all this technology and we have to see if it's working. So here's my Amazon search experiment. So Amazon search experiment. So this shows me that people are beginning to find out. Remember, I typed in earlier, I typed in deodorant. And so it says deodorant for men, deodorant for women, aluminum free. This is the search that that came up. I wonder, is this showing you? I hope it is. Okay, it's showing you. I had to double check. Okay, so here's the screenshot, and you won't see it on my personal Facebook page, but you will see it on my YouTube channel. So if you're not on my YouTube channel, you want to check out my YouTube channel, Darcy Iyer at YouTube. Okay, so then I went to a popular deodorant, and here's a common deodorant ingredient list. So it shows active, inactive ingredients first, and then it says active ingredients. The first thing is aluminum, 18.2%. 18.2%. That's a lot. In your underarms. Now remember, aluminum has an affinity towards which tissues? The breast and the brain. Now they've also done tests, people who have dementia. Oops, sorry, cannot, oh no. Okay, sorry about that, I had a call. So they also have done tests with people with Alzheimer's disease, come to find out that most, I don't have the scientific study up, sorry, but most of them it has shown that there is aluminum in their tissues. Most of the people who have brain disease, the different categories are dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. They've done these heavy metal tests to come and find out that, oh my gosh, they have high concentration. Well, wouldn't you know it, if there's an active ingredient of aluminum in just one of your body products. Now, this isn't to mention if you are, come back here. This isn't, not to even mention, are you using aluminum foil? Do you cook with aluminum? Think about it. What happens when you cook with aluminum? So you got your nice pie and you're cooking, it's in the oven. And if there's any water, it bubbles up to the top and then it mixes with the aluminum foil and drips right down into your food. Boom, you're getting exposed to aluminum. Let's say you make another thing or you cook something in those trays with aluminum. I'm not even talking about Teflon. Teflon is persistent in the environment in our body. You know how long Teflon persists? I get so wound up about this stuff. Teflon persists for 25 generations. I'm not even talking about Teflon here. I'm just talking about aluminum. Oh my gosh. So I'll take a breath and I'll wind down for a moment. So what happens is we consume these toxins. For whatever reason, we can speculate of why we're not given the information that these substances that we're consuming are extremely toxic. Maybe because companies don't want that full disclosure. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. You can, check that out if that interests you. What I want to talk about today is what's really important for us to think about is what are we consuming to learn about the different types of toxins that we are exposing ourselves to. Why? Because it's not like stubbing your toe, like I said earlier. I stubbed my toe a couple years ago. Bam! Oh, it hurt like crazy. I cried. I dropped down to the floor and cried. Now, do you think the 100 or 1,000 or tens of thousands of exposures to aluminum is going to feel like that? No, it's silent. So I'll give you an example. Our dear surf legend, Rel's son, as a child, she would play in the DDT spray that they used on Oahu. They used this DDT to kill mosquitoes because at the time, dengue fever was really prominent. However, the companies did not tell the children, the families, that this DDT is extremely toxic. And what happened is these kids would go play in the miracle spray. They would get doused with DDT. Oh my God. And then would they shower right away? Would they take binders? Would they do the serious cleanse and cleanse it out? No, they didn't know they were getting exposed. And Hawaii's dear surf legend battled with breast cancer for 15 years. And similarly, if you saw the movie Erin Brockovich, you know that the company PG&E was intentionally polluting the area with toxins. Hexavalent chromium, to be exact, and it affected people in different ways. One person it would affect with ovarian cancer, another person their spine degenerated. It was awful. And they started to become aware of this and formed a class action suit. Well, what happened was that Erin Brockovich was a legal facilitator at the time. She wasn't an attorney. She's also an environmental activist. And what happened was all these people came together and they actually won this class action precedent-setting lawsuit. They won $333 million. Now, it wasn't really a victory. It was still an empty victory, because there are companies doing this all over the place. DuPont, all of the Monsanto, all of the big plastics companies, anything that deals with these chemicals and these pesticides. Now, I can't possibly list each one, but what I am doing is helping you to identify those toxins through learning about what's in your drinking water, what's in your showering products, what is in your body products, your food, the water. Remember the 3 ways we consume toxins. What are you eating, breathing, and putting on your skin? What are you exposing your precious, beautiful body to that years from now might develop into something uncomfortable? That's the first thing. Thing number two, which is just as equally as important about learning about toxins, is cleansing these toxins from our body. Number 3 is tracking our progress as we do so. Because what good is doing a cleanse if you don't know how you're doing? And most important, thing number 4 is you want to prevent these toxins from getting in your body in the first place. Because like I said 3 times during this video, it's way easier to prevent these toxins from getting in your body than it actually is to cleanse them. But if you want to cleanse them, I gotcha. In the first week in February, I'm going to be offering a cleanse. It's called the breast cleanse. It's only for people who have breasts. So sorry, men, you can do the next cleanse. This is for women who want to be healthier and learn about the causative factors in breast disease, to cleanse from them, and to prevent these toxins from getting in your body in the first place. There are 9 seats. I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to do this because I'm creating some fake urgency or my marketing guru told me. There are literally only 9 seats. Only 9 people will be there. And I have to send you the kit and you have to receive it in the mail. It's only for people in the United States right now. I only have room for 9 and I'm just putting it out to my mailing list. So you want to hop on it. So that you can A, get your kit in the mail, and B, before the other 9 people do. I only have 9 kits available. I make this in small batches. So if you want to learn more about it, here's a link right below. I completely, wholeheartedly encourage you to learn about these toxins that you're exposed to. So go ahead and click the link, even if you just want to learn about it. Thank you so much for your time today. And if you have found value in this video, or if you've found that aluminum or parabens in your body products, let me know. When you find value, and you share this video, or you comment, or you like, that helps me too. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as we say here, aloha.